and give me a clap now. Thank you.
That was a shit clap. That was a shap.
A shap.
A shap.
That's not a word.
Let's never use that word again.
So, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
First episode was a moderate success, I suppose.
Yes, moderate success. We had listeners from all around the globe.
Is that so?
Well, we had listeners from the United Kingdom. We had listeners from the United States of America. And we had a listener in Canada.
A single listener in Canada.
A single
was it
listener.
Me?
Yes, it was you.
So I did the maths on the YouTube video, because it tells you how much total watch time you had.
Yes.
Versus how much views. And given the total watch time, I calculated, hang on, do you want to know how many people watched the video to the end?
Probably 4, and 3 of them are me.
It was 6, I think.
Because most people I've spoken to have either kind of dotted around it, because it's quite long and there's nothing visual. It's got to be something. Podcasts are things that people kind of do in the background unless they're intently interested in the people. So
I suppose that's true.
From people I've spoken to, they just get to listen to us at the start. They'll dot around, listen to the end. Only a few people have listened all the way through. At least people I've spoken to anyway.
Oh well.
Would you like to go over some feedback?
Do we have feedback?
We have we have feedback, not necessarily in the comments, but from people talking to me about it.
Sure, hit me.
A lot of people thought you sounded like a 10-year-old girl.
That doesn't surprise me.
Didn't surprise me. I told them yes, we were aware of that going in.
You made a joke about it in the podcast.
Did I? That must be why they all said such a consistent response. They knew I was recording it with a friend in Canada, and they thought my friend in Canada was a girl.
Was Canadian? Yeah.
Was a girl.
Oh, well.
Not until we introduced ourselves were they certain that you were in fact a male.
I can do this voice if you want. Would that be better?
Please, maybe for the listeners, but can you do that in post? Because it'll really put me off.
No, I'm not gonna do that. It's hell in my voice.
So, feedback was more or less positive actually. People enjoyed it. People thought that, especially one friend specifically, he looked through the show notes right at the beginning, and the second they saw Overwatch in the show notes, he was hooked and he listened to the whole thing just because he was so happy we were speaking about Overwatch. And
then he was really disappointed by that terrible, terrible segment.
Yes. Well, he actually never got back to me. I'm seeing him tomorrow though, so maybe he'll have something to say.
I do have a follow-up on that. The sets, the Overwatch Lego sets got leaked the other day by Target. They look pretty cool. That's it, that's the follow-up.
Transition! So, I have had somewhat of a mass appreciation for horror throughout my
I am well aware.
My time enjoying the film, and recently
I heard there was a big film came out.
A big film did come out to do with the festive season of Halloween, and the film was called Halloween. A sequel to the 1978 film Halloween.
This is a trend that really annoys me in all media. Is we're doing a sequel, but it's sort of a soft reboot. Just call it the same thing again. They did it with Halloween. They did it with most of the horror films, right? They just call it the same thing again.
I think Halloween's the first one that's ever done it.
Didn't they do that with Predator as well?
No, yes, they did. Yes.
They did it, and it's especially prevalent in games too. They did it with Tomb Raider, did it with God of War.
But that was that wasn't a soft reboot, that was just a reboot.
That's true, it was just a reboot. God of War wasn't a reboot though.
What? It wasn't the latest God of War called something else? It
was called God of War.
What were the other ones called? 2 and 3?
God of War 1, 2 and 3, yeah.
I used to assume the new one was called God of War 4. I don't know. I wasn't thinking
No,
about it.
it goes God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War.
Well,
It's
Halloween.
really annoying.
Halloween goes Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H2, Halloween Resurrection. Then we get the two shit Rob Zombie reboots of Halloween and Halloween 2, and then we get Halloween.
So not complicated at all.
Not complicated at all, and they're different timelines. They're different timelines. Anybody listening to this that has heard me rant about Halloween, you will be reciting what I'm about to say with me because I've told you before. But you can watch now just Halloween the original, and then you can watch the new one in theatres that's in the cinema right now, and that's that timeline. Or you can watch Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, and Halloween Resurrection. That's another timeline. Or you can
Halloween H2O, like just add water, like he's
right.
an mermaid.
That's what the whole fucking world thinks, including me, But it's actually Halloween 20 years later. That's the full title.
Oh.
Because it was the 20th anniversary. That's why they made it. And now this new one that's came out, they're making because it's the 40th anniversary. So they didn't call it Halloween H4O, you know. And then the main timeline, which was kind of the original order, was Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween 6. Halloween 3 doesn't matter to anyone because Michael Myers is not in that fucking film. There's like a bit in the film where there's a guy at a bar, and on the TV in the bar there is the trailer for the first Halloween film. It's...
What?
The original plan for Halloween was that it was supposed to be like an anthology, like Black Mirror. Every film was supposed to be a new thing set around Halloween. It wasn't supposed to be the same guy in a white mask. It was a different story every film.
Except everyone liked Michael Myers, so the studio was like, just make more Michael Myers films.
Yes, so there was contracty loopholes that made Halloween 2 happen with Michael Myers, and it was like it's set on the same night. Like the second the first one finishes, the new one starts, all the same Halloween night. Then after that, John Carpenter, who's the creator, was like, right, okay, I want to do my actual proper vision now. I did your sequel, now let's do Halloween 3, be the Black Mirror anthology before Black Mirror's a thing that I always wanted to make. And he made it. And it's not an awful film, but it's called Halloween, and the thing that made Halloween famous, Michael Myers, was not in the film, so nobody liked it at the time.
It is weird though that the franchise is called Halloween and not called Michael Myers.
Friday the 13th isn't called Jason Voorhees, Nightmare on Elm Street isn't called Freddy Krueger, you know?
I suppose.
So, you know...
Alien is called Alien though.
Yeah, well, that's just xenophobic to aliens. So, you know, then after the third one, and nobody liking it at the time, the studio thought, shit, we need to do something. So then they brought him back for the fourth one, and it's like he's been in a coma for 15 years after the hospital blew up at the end of the second. Because at the end of the second one, spoiler alert for a 38-year-old movie or whatever, the hospital just blows up. Michael Myers burns to death, but no, he's like Mustafa in Austin Powers, where he's like, I'm really badly burned. So. Will Ferrell and Michael Myers have a little crossover with Mike Myers also being Austin Powers.
Well done, yeah.
Yeah. And Busta Rhymes was in Resurrection. He was good. He's a trick or treat motherfucker.
Is that a real person?
Busta Rhymes, yeah, he's a rapper.
Oh, that's a terrible name.
Yeah, I don't know much about rap. I know that not very many people like Busta Rhymes. I just know that he was famous, and then in 2002 they said, hey, let's put him in a Halloween film, and then that swiftly killed the franchise.
But it's back. I guess you should probably say what you think of the new film.
It's amazing. It's so good. It's just such a good piece of filmmaking, and I've heard some people say that some the hardcore, just, oh my god, it's Halloween, I can never say anything bad about it. People are saying it's it's one of the best films of the year, and you know what?
Including you. You said that.
Yeah. Hold on to your horses here, folks. I agree with them. I thought it was a really good film. I really, really enjoyed it. There's one twist in the film that I didn't like. Like, I can't give this film 10 out of 10. I am seeing it again tonight though. But like, I would give this film like a solid, 8.5, because the twist was so bad that I can't give it a 9. But
But you'd still call it one of the best films of the year.
I've not seen many good films this year.
You're remembering this is the same year when Infinity War came out, right?
Yeah, well, that's the best film of the year. So I'm, and there's also things like A Quiet Place and stuff, which is another really good horror film. But even the music in this film is just great. Like, most people go, "Oh, talking about music, seriously?" No, honestly, Halloween is known for having some of the best like music in any film ever made. In terms of, it's not Star Wars or Jurassic Park.
Even I know the Halloween theme.
Yeah, most people know the Halloween theme, right? And then that's also was composed by John Carpenter, who was the creator and director and everything. And finally, because he kind of got a little bit salty, I think, over the whole Michael Myers thing, because he kind of took over the franchise that was supposed to just be an anthology. So they finally got him to come back to do the music for the new film, and I don't know how much money they paid him, but he put out some. Oh, the music in this film is so good. Oh, you could listen to it, man. It feels like you could put it into any Halloween film or any film, and you would get the idea that something creepy or scary is about to happen.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the film. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to watch it.
Listener Kyle's a big scaredy cat.
As we've discussed on the last episode, I do not like horror films.
So good.
It's fine, I've had plenty of new games to tide me over this past
Oh
few months.
god, listener, I know I just went on a rant about how great Halloween was. This episode is probably going to be predominantly video games, because a lot of stuff has happened and I can only have input into maybe 1/4 of that.
Well, let's start off simple, because I just want to bitch about the new avatars for Xbox.
Oh, right, okay.
Minutes.
Maybe I can bitch about something as well then. Okay.
So they're bad, right?
I'm actually looking at my avatar right now.
Well, you went the same route as me, and you've just kept the old one, I noticed.
Until yesterday.
Oh, you finally caved and went for the new ones?
Yeah. So, when you're kind of inactive on Xbox on the home screen or something, and then like a third of your screen gets taken up just by like a big grey box, whatever, and it's like, your friends are playing this game, and like their avatars or gamer pictures pop up?
Yeah.
Well, it's been happening, and more of my friends have been just upgrading to the new avatar, probably just because they're dumb and it's new. And like I say that like, it's half an insult, but I went and fucking did it as well, so I'm no better.
Yeah.
And I saw, and at first I hated it. I hated the new avatars. I thought everyone just looks so. All the guys.
They look like crap.
Yeah.
And the main thing that annoys me is they're way less customizable than the old ones.
They are, and the things that you spent real money on with Microsoft points back in the day don't transfer over as well.
Nope.
So like, yeah, I upgraded just, I think, because everyone else was for no proper reason. I really need to add, there's no real reason I did it. There was no selling point to doing it. I just kind of did it because everyone else did. Despite the fact it doesn't make much of a difference because the old avatars work in exactly the same way. They just look like they're from the 360.
I'm keeping my old avatar because I didn't really have much investment in my avatar. It was just like a thing that I had. But then when it switched to the new ones, I was like, oh, I've had this avatar for so long, I'm just kind of used to it, and change feels weird.
Yeah, I mean, when the Xbox One first came out, there was no avatars. Didn't avatars not come along until like 2015 or 2016 on the Xbox One?
Oh no, it was way before that, because there was like Kingdom for Kethlings came out in like 2011 or something.
No, I mean on the Xbox One.
On the Xbox One, I'm not.
They weren't.
Sure.
They weren't at launch. They were.
Well, they were there
later.
when I got an Xbox, and I got an Xbox One about a year after launch.
So late 2014.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I agree with you because avatars were like, they meant something in the 360. I think most people kind of had some kind of weird tie to their avatar. They liked their avatar. Every couple of months you would go and piss around with it.
Well, that's because there was a bunch of games that used your avatar.
Yeah. Then I think the Xbox One actually did have a launch title for Xbox avatars, and it was like Doritos Crash Course 2. So
No, that was a 360 game.
are you
wasn't
sure?
it?
I thought that was a
I'm
launch.
pretty
I thought
sure.
it was a launch indie
I
game
don't-
on the Xbox One.
You just said that they didn't have avatars in
Yeah,
Xbox One
yeah.
launch. How could there be a launch game
Right.
with avatars?
Right, no, I meant like they didn't play a part in your profile. It would be like they're still on your account somewhere, but they weren't something that could ever be displayed on your Xbox screen. You would need to go onto a game or something. Maybe I am wrong, it's 360, but I something in my head says that was just the Xbox One launch free game.
I'm fairly sure there wasn't any Xbox One Avatar games, not that I can think of.
Well, anyway, like I say, I agree with you that the upgrade was stupid and that, you know, I didn't really care about my avatar on Xbox One because there was nothing really there because they hadn't been around. But then when this new one came out and I didn't like it, I was like, you know, I know I have an attachment to my old avatar. Fuck you, 7 years old this account, I'm not upgrading.
And then you did it anyway. You know
right.
you can go back, right?
Yes,
It's not
no,
permanent.
yes, you can go back. So what I was going to say was that I'm just kind of trying it out. I'm not. Well, you're bitching about it. I kind of, despite the fact I'm trying it out, I'm also bitching about it. I probably will go back to my old avatar because of, you know, nostalgia and investment and stuff, and like, you know, the outfits, man, the outfits. I have a Kiss t-shirt.
I really don't know why they decided to update avatars after all this time. It's really random.
It was
and out of nowhere.
a move for inclusion because you could have, you know, if you were in a wheelchair or you have a prosthetic, new avatars can have that. And they thought, let's just make a whole new avatar system instead of just updating our current avatar system that we've not done anything with since like 2012.
The old avatars have a sort of like cutesiness to them that I quite like, and the new ones, they look kind of creepy. Like they have these weird bulging eyes that kind of freak me out.
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying it, when we're talking about how like a big portion of your screen gets taken up by your avatars when you're idle, it's exactly what's on my screen right now, and the avatars are looking at me, and they're like, you know, smiling and saluting, and you know, whatever their movements have been programmed to
They're kind
do.
of terrifying. They kind of remind me of like Chucky or something.
You know what? Yeah, like some of the people that made their avatars look a little bit fat. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. But I think that the kind of chrome prosthetic arms you can get, you know who they remind me of, people with those arms? I think, like, Jesus, you're the Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Four. Like, that's what
Oh man, what a memory.
that's what it looks like. I was like, I know this arm. Not even the face, just the arm.
Yeah, new avatars are dumb.
That's that
Hashtag
segment.
Boycott new avatars.
Boycott new avatars, indeed.
So, a bunch of new games launched.
A bunch of new games did launch.
I don't know if you want to talk to me about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. If you're curious, I made a video on the ending, which I really didn't like. But we won't go into spoilers here.
We won't go into spoilers here. Click, Kyle's video in the link.
I will say I was very angry in that video, and
He
I've
was
since
very
calmed
angry,
down.
listener.
And I would still give the game like a solid 4.5 out of 5. Like I really liked it.
But
The
the
ending
ending,
didn't ruin it for
the
me.
ending at the time, listener, as click the link in the description will show, he was so annoyed. I was watching it
very
like
annoyed.
I was watching it being like, Jesus Christ, like this is just the ending of the game and it's affected you that much.
You know what? It affected me so much just because of how much time I'd put into the game before that. Like that was about 80 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, this is just dumb. Like, I won't go into spoilers. And I should also say, it's not like, it's like the second end of the game. There's like the end of the main story, which is nice, and I like the end of the main story, and then there's the end of the modern day story, and that's the one I don't like.
Right, okay, yeah. Yes, I'm thinking about what you're talking about, and I'm like, wait, yeah, no, I know what you're referring to, yeah. I should note, I have not played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have really not properly played an Assassin's Creed game since Unity. Even then, I still haven't finished that. I bought Rogue.
I played Syndicate.
Yeah, right, I was getting onto that. I did play Syndicate because it was free on Xbox, and you know what? I enjoyed Syndicate. I never bought Origins, I had no interest, and then given that I never had any interest in Origins, Odyssey did about the same as Origins did and getting me interested. You know, it's like
Odyssey is significantly better than Origins.
kind of like how Unity and Syndicate look almost like the same game. I feel like Origins and Odyssey also do kind of look like the same game.
Gameplay wise, like, yes, pretty much. But story wise, Odyssey is significantly better, and I know that's ironic coming from me, but
Coming from the guy who hated the ending.
who made a 5-minute video bitching about the ending.
Here, you did a quick turnaround in that video, man. I heard you like one
I
night.
was really pissed.
One night you bitched about it. The next day, videos uploaded, guys. Here's my thoughts.
Listen, when I have the motivation, I can crank out a video pretty quickly.
But you know, it was a good video for what it was. I mean, obviously I hadn't played the game, so I couldn't relate, and I didn't care about spoilers. But I thought, okay, I could see your gripe. You know, welcome to being a Star Trek fan. I can't do an episode without mentioning Star Trek, but I mean that's I did say that to Carla, was like, oh, that annoyingness because it makes it seem really impractical for the future of the Assassin's Creed, because this game is a prequel and the ending would kind of maybe affect every other game ever made, and you know, that's what it feels like being a Star Trek fan since 2009. It's like, oh, they're going back in time needlessly to kind of potentially fuck up shit that was fine. Yeah.
Anyway, we're faffing around way too long talking about Assassin's Creed, because the only game that anyone cares about at the moment is going to be Red Dead Redemption 2, which came out yesterday as we're recording.
My friend sent me a meme, and it was like the one of Squidward looking out of his house down to SpongeBob and Patrick outside, and it's like when all your friends are playing Red Dead Redemption 2, but you've still got Assassin's Creed Odyssey to finish, and Squidward's wearing like a Roman hat, and Patrick and SpongeBob are wearing cowboy hats. So he's still playing Odyssey, and I was like, isn't everyone done with Odyssey? Didn't everyone blast through it in like a week to, you know, just get on Red Dead Redemption 2 the second it came out? I had a friend that like we were playing Fortnite, then at midnight he was like, bye guys, and loaded up RD Redemption 2.
So I did get Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm assuming you didn't get it, and I have no idea if you're planning to get it.
I have zero plans to get it. I have not watched a single... Well, actually, I've watched a couple of trailers for the game. I haven't watched any gameplay for the game. I never played the first one, really, and I feel like... I honestly feel like so much of the excitement for this game is built up around people who at one point in their life played the first one, and this is the equivalent of Star Wars fans getting, you know, the Force Awakens, which I can relate to that.
The hype for this game has been so ridiculous. As soon as the first trailer came out, there was people proclaiming it as the game of the year. So
yeah, and I kind of somehow, I don't know, I was really able to stay away from that hype. I never got into the hype. I never cared really.
It's probably
Interest
because you never played the first game.
Yeah, well, this is it. I feel like I don't want to be so, you know, definitive about it's only because I didn't play the first game, because you know there's always going to be someone that's like, I never played the first game and I was excited. No, shut up. So I never played the first game. I never even was interested in the first game. It's the only thing that the trailers for this game have done have made me think, maybe I should go play the first game. But then I think, yeah, but that game's getting really old and I don't want to go back and play it for the first time now.
You know what? It holds up surprisingly well, because it's the precursor to GTA 5 and it has the same combat system as GTA 5, so it does play quite well.
I thought it came out like really soon after GTA 4. Well, that's how I picture Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, it was 2011, I think it came out.
When did
Red Dead Redemption?
When did GTA 4 came out?
GTA 4 was 2008, I think.
Okay, yeah, those years are kind of lining up in my head. That I always picture, you know, it was GTA 4, then Red Dead, then GTA. When was LA Noire?
LA Noire? I don't know where that fits in.
Right, because
I think that was after Red Dead Redemption, but before GTA 5.
It was GTA 5 was 2013, so it was definitely before that, because I remember playing it, I think, before Grand Theft Auto came out, GTA 5. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did they make a remastered of the first one?
No, they didn't.
Right, see, maybe if they remastered it for Xbox One, did like a deal, you know, £25, get the whole game, all DLC, might buy it, might play it through, then maybe I would play the second one, maybe, if I enjoyed the first one. But
Okay, well, I'll tell you right now, it's called Red Dead 2, but it's a prequel. I don't know why it's called Red Dead 2.
It's like Battlefield, where they were like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1.
Yeah. It's set about 10 or so years before the first game.
Is it the same character?
No. The character from the first game is in it, but you don't play as him.
Is it kind of like how characters from GTA 4, like, they kind of have references in other games?
Kind of. I would almost compare it more to Borderlands, the pre-sequel,
Ah, yes.
where there's characters from the future games in it, but you don't play as them.
They're just kind of there, and you're like, oh, you're going to be
Yeah.
important one day.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm about 5 or 6 hours into the game, and
You sound disappointed.
I am a little bit disappointed. So I'll say right off, it's clearly a good game.
Yes, you can appreciate it.
There's just a whole bunch of things about it that I don't particularly like.
Like
So-
or care about.
There's things I don't like.
Right.
So, they've clearly went for a very realistic thing. So there's a bunch of semi-survival-esque elements to it. So you have to like eat in order to keep your health up, and you have to feed your horse, and you have to brush your horse, and you have to keep your guns clean, and you can fish, and you have to craft things, and you have to make sure you don't eat too much or you'll get fat, and you have to shave. And it's like, I just don't care. There's just all this extra crap that I don't care
This is why I
about.
don't like games like Dead Rising or, to the blasphemy of others, Minecraft. I don't like upkeep. Don't like
like-
having to continue. Like,
At least in Minecraft, that's the point of the game, though.
yeah, that is the point of the game. I suppose it
Like,
is.
I'm not playing Red Dead Redemption in order to shave every morning.
You're
I'm
fli-
playing Red Dead Redemption to be a badass cowboy.
That's what a lot of people were saying. They're playing Red Dead 2 to be a cowboy, and you know, I feel that's disappointing for you because there's a big selling point of this game where, you know, they've added so much stuff, and like you could fit the first game into this game like 2.5 times or something, and like
Oh, the map is massive. I've only explored a tiny fraction of
yeah,
it so far.
and it's like there's so much stuff they've added. The game is so detailed. Like even there's something about,
It's so dense, every shot.
you know, the horses and stuff. Just they've added so much detail. Like every little thing in this game, there's so much
Oh, the
to do.
game looks incredible, like graphics-wise.
And I think if you're disappointed because they've added almost too much, with the stuff you don't care about, they've kind of bloated the game a little bit with things like shaving and stuff. I really do sympathise because I have a really low threshold for that kind of shit. Like I'm like, oh, you want me to fucking, you know, feed the horse? I'm fucking done. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that shit.
It's like the horse is gonna kick me off if I get too close to a wolf.
Oh, really?
Look, stop being a pussy, you fucking dumb horse.
And you've seen the kind of shit you can do with a horse in Assassin's Creed?
I know.
Ezio's
You
horse
know
didn't
what?
give a fuck.
You know what? As I was playing it, I was thinking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey has a massive map where you ride around on a horse. But in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you don't have to feed the horse. You don't have to brush the horse when it gets dirty. You don't have to worry about any of this crap, and it's so much more fun because of it.
What happens if the horse
And I
gets
know
dirty?
that must be heresy to anyone that I'm comparing Red Dead Redemption to Assassin's Creed, but
What does brushing the horse do? Sorry.
oh, if your horse gets too dirty, then its health degrades faster.
Fuck off.
This is what I mean. And if your guns aren't consistently cleaned, then they become less efficient.
I get the realism there. Like the old West cowboys, this is the kind of shit the cowboys had to do back in the 1800s with Doc Brown and Marty McFly. I get it. But I don't give a shit.
No, neither do I. And it's not as if they're going for realism either, because you also have a handheld camera.
Right, okay. Any argument for realism went out the window.
Exactly.
I should note, I have not read any reviews for this game. As Kyle said, the game, by the time we're recording this, came out yesterday. And I've not looked into it. I've not even asked friends what do they think of it when I'm
I'm
speaking.
sure everyone loves it.
When,
Like,
when
it's a new Rockstar game.
as
Everyone always
as
loves
I'm,
Rockstar
as I'm
games.
speaking to Kyle, this is my first time having any feedback from anyone that's played the game. My friends list on Xbox right now is taken over with. Actually, you know what? I was gonna say it's taken over with Red Dead. It's not so far. It's actually taken over with people playing Fortnite, people playing Black Ops, people playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and people playing only a couple of people playing Red Dead 2, and that's for my friends list. That's pretty balanced. Surprised, like I remember, I suppose it still does happen here or there, but I remember when game like Black Ops 2 came out, and a lot of people, my friends, were playing Assassin's Creed or they were playing Halo, and just everyone was on Black Ops 2. Entire friends list, bottom, top to bottom. Black Ops 2 was the game you were playing in 2012, before Halo 4. And
It doesn't really happen anymore.
everybody's just kind of into different stuff now.
Yeah.
Like I'm still playing Fortnite.
That does actually surprise me, though. I did kind of expect that full friends list would be Red Dead.
Yes, so did I. I knew
Given,
I knew
given
I
like
wasn't
the
there.
ridiculous hype that's been around the game.
Yeah, like I knew I
And I
wasn't
will
getting
say,
it, but everyone else was.
before it sounds like I'm absolutely hating on it, there is things I like about the game so far. The story is very good, and the combat is fun, and riding around on your horse is fun, and it looks amazing, and it's just all the little itty things that you have to worry about just make the game kind of intimidating, almost of like,
Yeah.
oh, I just can't be bothered
It's almost like
with all this stuff.
It's almost like when you're playing a game and you're like, oh, I need to log on to get my daily reward. Even if you don't want to play it, you feel like you need to log on to get your daily reward. And it's like, oh, gotta go on and brush the horse. Horse's shoe needs repaired! It's that kind of what it's like.
I don't think you have to repair their shoes, but I could be
seriously.
wrong. I know, right?
You brush them, they get scared when they jump off at a wolf. You can take pictures, you can shave, but you can't change a horse's shoe. Maybe one of the most basic things that even a complete, dunce that doesn't understand cowboys would understand. I guess you would need to change a horse's shoe. What?
I'm honestly surprised the game doesn't tell you to change your clothes every so often, because people start thinking you're smelly for wearing the same clothes. That might happen.
Everyone was smelly back then, though.
That's true.
You had baths, and that was it, and the baths were like public baths.
There is one other thing. So the main character's name is Arthur,
right.
And that's such like an English butler name. It always makes me kind of chuckle every time you hear a cowboy say the name Arthur.
That's kind of what I think when I watch like trailers for Aquaman.
And the other thing is, so you're not playing as the character from the first game. You're playing as a new character. And so far, the game hasn't really sold me on him. Like, the first game, you've got John Marston. And immediately you're like, I like John Marston.
See,
He's an interesting character.
I've never played Red Dead, and even I'm familiar with the name John Marston.
He's incredibly iconic, and it's because he's a great protagonist. This new guy, it's like, he's just like a cowboy. He doesn't carry the game in the way that John Marston did, at least so far. I haven't been sold on him yet.
Has anyone said yeehaw yet?
I don't think so.
They're making a cowboy game. Oh, Jesus Christ. Rockstar! Scottish company. Come on, yeehaw. More of the yeehaw.
Anyway, that's my gripes with Red Dead Redemption so far. Which, it is disappointing because I love the first game. I love GTA 5. But this
GTA 5 is just aged incredibly well. I played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I think honestly this game came out, last year.
It's just, it's all the extra things they've added, and it's just, maybe you didn't have to bother.
Yeah.
If you removed the having to clean guns, you think anyone would really care? Because all it is like you have to go into the menu and you have to hold a button while your guy cleans a gun.
Seriously, it's not even like a place you need to go to?
No, it's just, you can do it. You just bring out a cloth and you start wiping the gun.
I would like to know, I would probably also get really annoyed if I had to go to a place to clean my gun, but I would still respect and understand what they were trying to do. But see, when they're just half-assing it by going to a menu and press a button, what's the point?
I completely forgot. So your character gets dirty as well, and you can go and you can have a bath, and you have to clean each part of your body yourself.
Are there consequences for not doing it though? Because I don't mind that.
I don't know.
Because
The consequence is your character is covered in mud.
right, because when I don't mind things that are just optional. There's no consequences. Like in Assassin's Creed, you can go to a bar and get drunk. That's fine. There's no consequences to doing it or not doing it. But when it's like, the game's going to be affected if you don't do X, your horse might die and you need to get a whole new horse. No, I don't want to do that.
And that's what most of the things are. It's just, I will play again, but for now I actually
Of
stopped
course
playing
you're going
it
to
for
play
a
it
while.
again.
Yeah, because I bought it and it cost a fuckload of money. But for now I stopped and I went back to playing For Honor again because...
Yes, I know you've been playing actually, my friends list also has some For Honor players on it. I forgot to mention For Honor. I'm surprised why so many people are playing For Honor. Like, I had fun with it, but I don't know. What draws you to For Honor, Kyle? I'm interested.
I don't know. Once you get into the combat system, it is surprisingly fun. The reason I've been playing it a lot recently is because the new DLC came out that added a bunch of new characters, and I actually bought it.
You even got like the DLCs and stuff. I'm so surprised. For me, For Honor feels like one of those games that it exists, you can play it, but like only people that are really into it are playing, and I just don't see you as one of those people. Though you are, because you bought the DLC.
I am surprisingly into it. You know what? I don't have a good answer for you. It's just something about it really draws me in. I am surprised that For Honor didn't take off, because when you hear the concept of For Honor on paper, it's like, oh my god, that's a great concept.
Yes.
Samurai versus Vikings versus knights. Oh my god, that's great. That's what every 12-year-old kid thinks about as soon as they learn about history. It's like, who would win in a fight between a samurai and a knight?
Whilst most 8-year-olds learning about history immediately think of Brendan Fraser fighting The Rock.
I don't. I've never seen that film.
Moving on. But yeah, I mean, For Honor. I mean, I had fun playing it. I've still got it installed. I could play it right now, though I won't. I don't know. I'm so surprised that you're playing it, honestly.
I don't know. I've been drawn in it. I have been trying to 100% it too, which is also why I've been playing it quite a lot.
Oh man, that's so much work.
It's not that much work. It's just time, and it is fun, so I don't mind. I've been enjoying it. The reason I was apprehensive of buying it in the first place is I picked it up free with gold.
Didn't we all?
But yeah, the reason I was apprehensive to buy it was just because I assumed that the community around it would be just awful. Because any game that's skill-based like that generally has just the most awful people playing it. It's like, oh my god, you suck, why didn't you get the objective, you fucking asshole, you suck at this game, kill yourself. That's kind of what I was expecting.
I hope you bleep every swear word in this episode out, Kyle, because this has been a very profanity-filled show.
Has it? It doesn't seem that more than usual.
I don't
that
know.
one I can't bleep out because I was making a point.
Yeah, no. Didn't you get a message on Xbox Live?
I did. That it was a nice message. It was a bit of a nagging message.
It was like a backhanded compliment.
It was a backhanded compliment.
He was shaking your hand and stabbing you at the same time.
The comment was that my playstyle was so bad that it works.
And didn't he say that's not even meant as an insult? GG.
Yeah, GG. I'm not sure. If the playstyle is bad, but it works, then doesn't that mean
Isn't that mean
playstyle's just good?
It's not bad. Yeah, it's
yeah.
How I picture it is what I do, which is a bad playstyle. I run in and hit things.
I'm a bit more advanced than that.
Right, because when he's saying it's so bad, it works. That literally means it's not bad if it works.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just different.
Yeah. Anyway, I like For Honor. I can see why you don't like it. It's just not your kind of game.
It's not that I don't like it. I don't say I don't like it. It's just, I've still got it installed to play right now. I don't hate it. If I didn't like it, it would be uninstalled.
I still think it's not your kind of game though. That kind of
tactical
combat.
combat.
The combat system. It's just you're much more of a shooter person.
I am much more of a shooter person.
Which, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I also like shooters. I'm not one to judge.
I've been playing some Star Wars Battlefront 2 again recently in preparation for Mr. General Grievous.
I heard he was coming.
He's coming on the 30th, right before
General
Halloween.
Kenobi.
I was going to say General Kenobi, but then you might actually think I'm just making a meme and it's Obi-Wan that's being added. He's coming later with the...
No.
It's really weird.
Obi-Wan's not in the game yet.
He's not in the game yet. The only prequel people they have in the game is like the prequel version of Yoda.
Darth Maul's
and
in it,
Darth
right?
Darth Maul is in it, and everyone else I think is sequel or prequel. It's a sequel or is it original trilogy?
Yeah.
It's prequel Yoda and Darth Maul. They're the only two prequel characters. So with Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming out, or not coming out, they're adding to it. It's been out for a while. They're adding some new content. They're adding, the good general, the Separatist armies in a few days. Then they're adding Obi-Wan Kenobi with the Geonosis Galactic Assault map, I believe. Well, I can't wait. Can't wait to see all the Geonosis scenes. It will remind me of what it felt like to play the original Battlefront 2.
So, as much as I wish it was like... Oh no, I would love it if it was Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
It is Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
No, but like...
Oh, do you mean like the armor?
Clone Wars animated series.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, that's...
But I know that it can't be because all the other ones have a realistic graphic style.
That's their voice actor. They've got James Arnold Taylor doing the voice.
Yeah, but I'm assuming it'll look like Ewan McGregor with a beard.
Probably. And then you know who else they're adding? They're adding Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, and they're also adding Count Dooku. And they're getting all the voice actors are the people that voiced them in the show. Like, I didn't know this, but see the person that voices General Grievous in the show? It's the same person who voiced General Grievous in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I know that.
I didn't.
General Kenobi.
That's the name of the episode. I know they got. I know for the Clone Wars film, they actually got Samuel L. Jackson, they got Ian McDiarmid, and they even got Christopher Lee back to do the voices of who they played in the films. But then for the TV show, they brought in new actors that just sounded a lot like them.
Which is fine. That's how most spin-offs go.
That is how most spin-offs go. So there's no complaints there. But then just to see that they're consistently bringing them back, especially because
they're good. So
yeah, no, they're great. I mean, everyone knows the best thing that's about to happen to Star Wars is the Clone Wars coming back for a final season.
That's true.
And it's gonna be the best. Like, I don't care about the Mandalorian. I don't care about Star Wars Resistance. I don't care about Episode 9 for the moment. I care about Star Wars: The Clone Wars coming back. Like, it's gonna be great.
It is one of the most exciting Star Wars news is coming well, which is weird because the majority of Star Wars fans probably don't care.
I think most Star Wars fans do.
Yeah, but most Star Wars fans are like 40 though, so...
Nah. I'm on the Star Wars marketing thing quite often. I get the feel, I've got a reasonably good sample size to watch and see what people think. And from what I can see, I think the community of, diehards that are in the younger demographic, they are kind of split between whether they prefer Rebels or Clone Wars. So far, nobody's really talking about Resistance. Like, yes, people were speaking about it, but nobody cares really. And
it doesn't surprise me.
Most people that do prefer Clone Wars do have the more kind of oh rah rah Clone Wars kind of attitude. And people that prefer Rebels are just like, I like Clone Wars, but Rebels had more stories. And I was like, but oh rah rah clones, I can't even deny it. I am very kind of, I don't care if maybe the storytelling was done a little bit better in Rebels. I preferred,
they're different kinds of shows.
Yeah, they were put together.
To compare them actually.
They were the same animation style, same creator. They were put together quite differently in terms of their.
Because Clone Wars is more of an anthology story, and Rebels is a consistent.
Yeah, week on week told story.
Yeah.
Like, you need to actually go online to find a timeline to watch the Clone Wars properly. It's ridiculous.
At least until season 3 when it becomes more chronological.
Yeah, after season 2, they jumped on to make it a little bit more in line. Not completely though. It does jump around a little bit. There's just
a little bit. It's just
more so there are 3-part story arcs within the same season.
Yeah. Later
on, but at the start, you could have 2 parts, and then parts 3 and 4 will be 3 seasons later, or they'll do.
I will say.
Yeah.
I love the Clone Wars. It's not perfect. There is a bunch of episodes. The first 2 seasons are very
Yeah, there's an episode
kind of meandering
with Jar Jar and Padme that's I hate it.
There's a 4-part episode in like season 5 where it's all about the droids and it's boring as fuck.
Oh, when they go to the that's where they meet Gregor, man.
They meet Gregor, but they also have that. The entire episode is about 4 droids. One of them,
Astromechs.
only one of them can talk, and a tiny little robot and a tiny little man.
A tiny little man is
And
inside.
it's 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's so boring.
Gregor doesn't show up until like halfway through part 3.
Yeah.
I think, or is it just part 4? No, I'm pretty sure it's part 3. I can't remember. I've not watched Clone Wars in a while. I'm so excited for the return.
Anyway, there's plenty of other Star Wars news floating about. You want to talk about Mandalorian?
Yeah, let's talk about the Mandalorian. That it looks interesting. The picture showed absolutely nothing. It just showed a guy in Mandalorian. It might not even be Mandalorian. Obviously, the implication is that it is. It's just a guy in Mandalorian armor. Part of me wishes. I know it's not like it's just. It will not be. There's no like a what if it won't be. Part of me wants it to be a clone trooper. That would be nice. They get what's his face. Something Tamora Morrison or whatever. He's in the new Aquaman.
New Zealand guy.
He's still working. He's Aquaman's dad in TCEU. And I would just, I would like it. A nice little warm fuzzy feeling. Just, clones.
They won't because they're trying to hide the prequels.
I did say I just know it won't be. No, even.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of related, but not really. It's been officially confirmed that the Boba Fett movie is just dead. It's not happening.
I'm assuming that's because the Han Solo movie flopped.
Probably, but it's because also they're saying that they are 100% focused on the Mandalorian. And
sure.
Yeah, sure. And I'm happy about that. I didn't care about a Boba Fett movie the same way I didn't care about a Han Solo movie. Even though the Han Solo movie didn't turn out being disastrous, I didn't care about it. But the Boba Fett film that would have been really tough to do. That would have been I'm happy that's not happening.
It's like people like Boba Fett, but they shouldn't. How do you make a film out of a character that isn't a character?
Yeah,
it's like making a film out of Boss Nass. Like, no one gives a fuck about Boss Nass.
The point of Boba Fett. This is like the great plague of the sequel trilogy, and it's Phasma. They tried to make Phasma what they think the fans want Boba Fett to be.
Yeah. And
it's wrong. It's conceptually wrong. Boba Fett was cool just because he was the guy that stood there, and only the few scenes didn't say much. And whenever he did, it was just, oh, you're cool. Let's see more of that character. And then they thought, well, we can't, but we'll make one that's just like that person, and we'll give her some stuff to do. And it was Phasma, and it didn't work. It was
could have made Phasma interesting. They cast Gwendolyn Christie, and she's great.
And they even get her to
do anything.
They even get her to promote the film and stuff, and it's like,
yeah.
The implication by having her promote the film is that she's going to be there. They might have as well for The Force Awakens Daniel Craig promote it, that essentially the screen time was the same.
You know what? She should have been the leader of the First Order and not General Hux.
Nah.
That would have been way more interesting. She's a much better character than General Hux.
Nah, you know what? I'm fine with it because I can see it this way. I can see if Hux is the Admiral Yularen, Kylo Ren is Anakin, and then Phasma can be the kind of Captain Rex of it. I think a triangle of the lead can work. It's like even we're going from the sequel to the prequel to Halo for a minute. Palmer being the head of the Spartans, Phasma can be the head of the Stormtroopers in the army. I'm up for that. And then Hux can be just in charge of the First Order's kind of military tactics.
She should be a little bit more better at fighting than Finn.
I mean, there's a really good deleted scene in The Last Jedi where she ruthlessly kills 2 other stormtroopers when Finn mentions the fact that she was basically responsible for the destruction of Starkiller, and it's like, I don't want any of my soldiers to find out about that massive disgrace, and she kills them, and yes, you should be a better fighter than Finn, that's obvious, and the way they killed her felt like the only thing I'm happy about is the fact that they can't vandalise that character any further. So I don't.
It's so weird that they cast Gwendolyn Christie and never showed her face ever.
They cast her because it was Gwendolyn Christie, a name people
Yeah.
know, thing oh, she's in Game of Thrones, let's give her a part in Star Wars.
Yeah, the thing is though, my parents who I watched the film with, the Force Awakens, they didn't even know that it was Gwendolyn Christie, so...
If only she removed her helmet.
Yeah.
See if she came back in episode 9, I would be annoyed if they didn't do anything with her again. If she came back in episode 9, I wouldn't mind if they did something with her.
I feel like they probably will. I don't know how, but I feel like they probably will.
Currently, I'm convinced that J.J. Abrams is going to basically kind of ignore everything that happened in episode 8. Like,
Which will be equally as annoying,
I mean,
I think.
I'm going to love
You
it.
can't...
Like, for instance, I think he isn't going to obviously ignore if it happened in episode 8, it is canon. You can't just directly retcon it without explaining it, saying, like, I've got a feeling they are going to make Rey's parents someone, and then people will be like, but that ignores The Last Jedi. No, it doesn't. That was never really confirmed in The Last Jedi. Kylo Ren said something, then Rey finished the sentence, and Kyle did not clarify it. He just says, yeah, they were junk traders that sold you for money. Yes, and Kylo Ren is the height of, trust. You can trust him, can't you? No, he could easily be lying, or he might be misinformed himself.
I would be annoyed if they retconned that, though, because I actually like that reveal.
Yeah, and everybody's like, yeah, she doesn't have to have a parents that are enemy. I'm fine with that as well, but my problem goes into episode 7. Don't make a big deal about it if it is no one. Nobody cared about,
Snoke.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's parents, but that's because they were never mentioned. It's fine if they're no one, but then don't mention them. If you're mentioning them, there's a point to it.
I think the reveal that her parents weren't anyone, and that she was waiting for, because the whole point of it is she's waiting for them to return, and everyone's like, they're not going to. And if they were like people we care about our parents, then it would be out of character to do that.
No, I don't. I don't think they need to be someone who we already know about, but they just need to be something a little bit more than that. Like, see the point of like, oh, they're never coming back. They left you, and that's that. They didn't care about you. That's interesting. So I'm not totally behind the fact that they're not anyone. But in episode 7, she's like, I'm waiting for my parents to come back or whatever. That's fine. Mention that. But mention it in the first act and have it be done. She's still speaking about it by the end of Act 2.
Well, that's because she wants to go home, because she's, like, convinced herself. But by the end of that film, they're like, hey, they're not coming back. You know that, right?
But they still speak about it in episode 8. Like, fine, have her accept it and roll in by the end of episode 7, honestly. I don't mention them in episode 8. It's so annoying that you're still bringing up this plot line. I think everyone
had to mention it because everyone on the planet was like, who are her parents? Is it Obi-Wan? Is it Anakin? Is it blah 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 blah?
No, you don't. You could have just. This is what I mean by I think what JJ's gonna do. Luke Skywalker is dead. That's in the book, And no, I don't mean literally book. It's just it's in canon. He's dead. He will be one with the living Force. He'll be back as a Force ghost, and I think J.J. Abrams is going to try and utilise Luke Skywalker a lot better as a ghost of how Rian Johnson did when he was alive. I didn't agree with Luke Skywalker dying.
We're getting into a debate here, which the two of us have had before, which is I like The Last Jedi, and Nathan does not like The Last Jedi.
Yes, this might come up again in the future. But I honestly believe that J.J. Abrams, because it was so divisive, even if he likes it, he might very well like it considering he's Disney's golden boy. I think just purely because of how divisive it was, he will just try to not mention it. It's just that film happened. This film is going to be more of a sequel to Episode 7. Where the hell are the Knights of Ren? If they're nothing, don't mention them. Then yes, you could say, why did J.J. bring them up? That's kind of the privilege of someone starting a trilogy. They're allowed to bring this sort of shit up. It's the obligation of the future filmmaker to then address it.
The problem is he put it all in there with a plan. You've heard about all this, right?
Oh yeah, no.
How when Rian Johnson was directing the film, he didn't have any idea what they had planned for any of this stuff.
J.J. Abrams did write Episode 8 as a treatment, and then J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson swiftly went, I'm going to do my own thing. That's the problem.
That's not what I heard.
No, that was it. J.J. Abrams had treatment for 8, and he even had a rough outline for 9, but obviously he had no intention of doing 8 or 9. But it's just, you need to communicate with the next director. But there was no, like, arc plan. Before you made episode 7, there should have been this is where the story starts, this is where it's going to go to, and this is how it's going to finish, like a triangle, like a beginning, middle, and an end.
You think the same company who's producing Marvel would understand that?
Yeah, good God, I know. So I think that the sequel trilogy is troubled because there's good stuff in there that just isn't quite coming out. And I think that some of that is on J.J. Abrams for bringing up stuff. And then again, I do honestly think that's his privilege to do that because he's the one starting it. It's the obligation of whoever makes 8 and 9. I know we know J.J.'s making 9 now, so it's his own obligation. He's now obligated to finish what Rian Johnson and himself started, you know? Clone Wars is going to save us all.
Yeah, but Clone Wars isn't like... It's not going to be a huge success, like, regardless of... Like, all the Clone Wars fans will watch it, but none of the people who watch the films give a fuck about the Clone Wars series. It's like, the Clone Wars, you mean like the shitty second film with the prequels?
Yeah, I know, but... The Clone Wars is going to save us, Kyle. It's going to save me anyway. I will be so happy, and even with The Mandalorian... Dave Filoni is directing an episode, and so is Taika Waititi, who'd made my second favourite MCU movie. It's going to be so good,
I just wish they would take a break of Star Wars, and I know they won't, but...
I hope after 9 they take a break in terms of what they do on the big screen. I don't want episode 10 coming out in 2025.
I don't think they'll do another trilogy directly after, but they'll definitely keep doing side movies. I don't think there's any, question about that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Or do you think Solo kind of spooked them?
Solo.
A Star Wars movie can fail.
Solo undeniably 100% triple dipple backflip spooked them. That compared to what happened with Solo, they're going to sleep fine this Halloween. They're not going to be scared this Halloween. They got their Halloween back when they saw nobody gave a fuck about Solo. Despite the fact people told them we don't care about Solo back with Force Awakens came out, they were like, nah, it's fine. It's Star Wars. You'll go see it, right? And subsequently, no one went and saw it. And
well, it's like Force Awakens, massive success. Rogue One, pretty big success. The Last Jedi, people didn't like it or it was divisive, but it still made a fuckload of money.
You know what's weird? I like Rogue One. I think it's maybe my second favourite of the new Star Wars films being made. But I always forget that it exists. When I think Star Wars, I think, in terms of new Star Wars, I think
it's
The Force Awakens,
film.
The Last Jedi, Solo. Though when I watch it, I have great fun watching it.
I'm not a big fan of Rogue One. I gag on all the fan service a little bit extreme.
No, the fan service is incredibly extreme. You just watch yourself. It's like, oh, you're going to be in Tatooine in the 1 week time and meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Frothing in the milk, frothing in the mouth on blue milk. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I get what people. Any criticism of Rogue One, I cannot say you're wrong. Like, everything is very justified, and I don't even like it. But the things that they did do well in the film, I enjoyed to such a level that really helped the film for me. I could personally re-edit the film myself and probably come up with a better cut. But
just cut out that dumb scene where they meet the You'll Be Dead guy.
Cut out the You'll Be Dead. Honestly, cut out the weird mind-reading Force squid. I'd be fine with that as well.
Cut out all of Forrest Whitaker. Like, really? Why is he in the film? Other than as a Clone Wars reference, I guess.
The treacherous pilot could get the plans to the rebels.
Yeah, but why is the treacherous pilot in the film? Like,
so that he could get the plans to the rebels.
But why don't they just have the dad give the plans? Like, I don't understand.
Because he's been kidnapped.
But he sent a message. Like, he got a message out. Why didn't he send the stuff with the message?
The message that he got sent out was the thing that they gave to the pilot. They didn't send it over Wi-Fi, it was a data chip. You know,
Why is the blind guy in the film? Why are blind guy and muscle guy even in the film?
the blind guy would have been cool if they made him a Jedi. They show in like their angle for the film was no lightsabers in this film. That then last minute decided no, we're gonna have that awesome scene with Darth Vader. So they contradicted themselves in the end anyway, and they've admitted that scene was put in at the end. And throughout the process of making the film, they wanted this to be a no Star Wars lightsaber film. No Jedi, no Sith. And at the end they thought, fuck it, let's do Jedi and Sith. So the fact that we're going to contradict themselves anyway means I think they could have just made the blind guy a Jedi. Keep him blind, keep the character the same, but instead of the staff, make it a lightsaber, and I think that would have made him a lot more interesting of a character. The muscle guy, yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
But even the blind guy, even if he was a Jedi, so what? He has nothing to do in the film. He's just there.
Yes, giving him a lightsaber would have made it more visually interesting. A martial arts expert.
It would have made it more visually interesting, but then it would just amount to more fan service.
Nah, I don't think in Star Wars. This is kind of what we get round to with it being a small universe. I don't automatically think lightsaber means fan service. I think lightsaber means they're weapons that are a big part of that universe. That's like every time you watch, a movie with guns on TV or in the theatre, it's like, oh, that's the M16. That's fan service to fans of the M16. Nah, I don't buy it. Lightsabers are a big part of that universe, I think, and I think that just having a character with a lightsaber doesn't mean fan service, but I do think it makes it more interesting, because whether we like it or not, a lightsaber is a very interesting piece of fictional equipment.
Maybe I'm not sick of Star Wars, I'm just sick of the current Star Wars aesthetic.
I would agree with that.
If you're gonna make another trilogy, just make it Old Republic. Or go 1,000 years in the past. Just make it something different.
If you're going to do that though, do not call it episode something. Just call it,
No.
the Old Republic trilogy. See if you're going to call it Star Wars episode 0.1. Fuck you.
No. Just show us something new.
You know what? See when I said that I don't want a new trilogy right after episode 9? I would be open to a trilogy if it was a separate thing, like something like an Old Republic or another. But see, when I say trilogy, I'm referring to episodic trilogy. I don't want...
like a direct sequel. You don't want to see Rey's kid become a Jedi and destroy the Sith.
Have episode 10 come out in 2029. Have Daisy Ridley go off, build a career, make a name for herself. Have her be a name to get excited for. Then she can be, not exactly like Luke Skywalker. She'd obviously still be a lot younger. But she can be a more experienced Jedi that can help them. I
just don't care. If they're just gonna do Rebels versus Empire
again, right. This is what you're talking about. Band of Rebels versus the big guy. Yeah. Talk about being fed up of that. We've one trilogy that doesn't do that, and it's the one people consider to be the worst trilogy. And
which is why they didn't do it again. But once they did The Force Awakens, and I kind of blame The Force Awakens retroactively, it's well, we're stuck with this plot story again of Rebels versus Empire.
I think that was a business move, though. The whole point...
It was. I know, and that's why The Force Awakens, the whole point was, capture the magic of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But once you've done that, then you realise, we're stuck doing the same thing again.
Yeah, it has a cumulative problem. It's in 2015 and early 2016, it's the best thing ever. Oh my god, Star Wars isn't broken. And then you get to the second film, and you're like, wait, we? I don't want to.
We messed up.
I don't want to do it. I want to do the other thing. No, we can't do that. Oh shit,
Which is what Rian Johnson was trying to do. I think was okay, I don't want to do the same film again, but it just didn't work properly because he still did the same film again.
Yeah, because you like episode 8, I don't want to hit too hard on episode 8, but I easily just can shout at it for 45 minutes.
I don't think it's a perfect film. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ideas of what's up. I would have done it differently. I would have actually had Kylo Ren and Rey team up at the end.
Yes.
I would have done that.
I wouldn't have minded them being a dark side duo at the end.
Or not even a dark side duo, a grey Jedi duo of who gives a fuck about light and dark.
That
That
that'd
would
be
have been
interesting.
so interesting.
Oh, I still think the killing Snoke was such a stupid thing. Like, not even.
No, I'm fine with
not
killing
not
Snoke. I
necess-
don't care if it's
I
Snoke.
take that back. Not necessarily killing Snoke. How they killed Snoke, the way it was shot.
It was kind of dumb. It's
Yeah,
like he turns his lightsaber on his true enemy.
and then they show you the lightsaber turn to Snoke, and it's like that. Where's the shock and twist? And then he dies, and the music goes dun dun dun, and you're like, oh, it's so shocked you didn't just show me the lightsaber turning. You know, it's like it would have been more shocking considering how shit of a job you did setting it up if he then actually did stab Rey, because they made it so obvious that it was going to be Snoke.
All you'd have to do to fix that scene is cut out the scene of showing the lightsaber turn.
Yeah, it would have done a lot to it. Yeah, you're right. Cut all footage of the light. Also, this is totally a fanboy request, but give Loki's green lightsaber at the fight on Crate. I didn't.
Well, it was to show that it was a hologram.
Yeah,
I guess.
but
I don't know why
they kind of did that with like the fact that Kylo Ren was pure making like red marks all over the ground and Luke wasn't, and it would have been more kind of when he disappears, that's evidence that it's a hologram, right?
Yeah. It would have made more sense if he showed up and it was just the same look we've seen, like old and raggedy with the green lightsaber.
I didn't mind him looking like he'd gotten a makeover. That didn't bother me at all.
I suppose. You know what? It occurred to me the other day, like, who says he's actually dead?
Look,
Maybe he just teleported.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill said it, but Mark Hamill doesn't know.
Yeah, but Mark Hamill's kind of like an authority, and then when Rian Johnson kind of said, no, we're not doing what you thought Luke Skywalker was going to do, and he was like, I fundamentally disagree with everything that Rian Johnson has done with this character, and then it blew up, and then he had to retract it, but not really because he believed in the retraction, but because his boss told him to. And
yeah, but people put a lot of evidence. He's not a writer.
Yeah, but
I actually liked what they did with Luke Skywalker.
What they said was that the reason he died was because he was like a junkie, and I don't mean that in a comical way. It was supposed to be like he had gone cold turkey from the Force for such a long time, and then all at once he took a really heavy dose of the Force, and like he Force projected himself to Crate, and it was so much Force that it killed him. Because he'd been off of it for so long. Maybe if he hadn't given up on the Force cold turkey for 20 years, he would have been able to do this like it was no problem at all. But his body just freaked out, it couldn't handle it. Which
that kind of makes sense to me.
It kind of makes sense. Like, I don't fundamentally disagree with the character dying. I fundamentally disagree with what how they kind of, the reasoning behind it. Like, why he gave up on the Force and everything. Nah.
See, I liked all the stuff with Luke Skywalker in the film. I thought he was the most interesting character in the film. I thought
I would
Luke
agree
Skywalker
he's the most
in The Last Jedi
I agree
was more interesting than he was in the original trilogy.
I agree he's the most interesting character in the film, but then again I do not like the film, so it does say a lot about the film.
Kylo Ren's pretty interesting too.
You know what? Fuck it. Yoda was the most interesting character in The Last Jedi. So, Scottishness.
Yes.
Yeah, so I should say to some listeners, I, for a period of time, was a mod in a Star Wars group page, a fairly well-trafficked one, and a very good fan page. Everyone, the admins and all that on that group do a very good job at policing, and everyone has a good time. And I kind of forgot to advertise this podcast to them. It just slipped my mind, got no justification for it. I just kind of forgot about it. And they found it themselves, and they listened to it, and they were kind of speaking to me a little bit while listening to it. And they were like, that's what you guys sound like? And I'm like, yeah. And I kind of thought they were going to speak about you, Kyle, because everyone else had.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they were speaking. They said the fact that I can understand you both shows that you're not doing Scottish good.
What?
I was compared to not compared to. Apparently, one of the people who listened imagined that I would sound more like Prince Harry. Yeah, yeah, what, I think it's just I type quite formally usually, and we don't sound like we're in any Mike Myers film ever made. We don't sound like Fat Bastard. We don't.
We sound like real Scottish people and not cartoon Scottish people.
Yeah, but we don't sound like we're getting ready to fight.
We don't sound like Shrek.
We don't sound like Shrek, because I am an ogre.
Well, I kind of expect that my accent is a lot less harsh just because I've lived in Canada for a while.
I still maintain I do not think you've sounded differently in terms of accent-wise since you left. You sound older, but I don't think you sound any less Scottish than when you left.
Do I sound older? You want to stick with that?
Yeah, I think you sound older.
Are you sure?
Yes, because when I was having some feedback from some friends and they were speaking about how you sound, and I then were like, I started looking through some old pictures of me and you, and I was like, I remember, this party or what, or like a first day of high school, and I remember memories and conversations, and I do remember how you sounded back then, and you did sound, we both did, but my memory
Well,
of you is that
even
you sounded
higher pitched.
I don't know if higher pitched.
Was I breaking glass?
You were like the fat lady in The Prisoner of Azkaban when she just smashes the glass off the wall and she's like, amazing, just like my voice. But no, so you do sound older, but at the same time, I don't think you sound any more Canadian. But so we both sounded Scottish. It was the people who listened to us were able to make us. They knew we sounded like Scottish. They were just surprised that they could understand us. There is this stereotype.
Like, we're from posh Glasgow.
I said
like,
I said we're from the central belt of Scotland. We're not like from the Highlands. Yeah. We've never wore kilts in our life. Well, you've wore a kilt.
I've worn a kilt.
You've worn a kilt. Sorry, I'm not proper Scots.
No, you don't even eat haggis. What kind of
I've had a haggis supper from the chippy.
Oh, things have changed.
It was okay. Really, I mean, it wasn't my order. I stole someone else's order. I had my own order. And
I miss haggis. We only get to eat it every so often because they don't sell it.
Don't you
here.
get fake haggis?
What do you mean fake haggis?
Like, I know this is true in the US, but isn't it like you'd have to have like fake haggis? Like there's something like an old law that was never updated, and it was like Scottish haggis is cooked in such a way that like the health board don't agree with it or something, so they ban imports of real haggis. You need to get some weird, like it is haggis, but it's also partially synthetic.
No, when last time we came over for Christmas, we brought back some tins of haggis, and we had a fun interaction with the security guy. It's like it says here on your notes that you're bringing over some meat products. It's like, yes, we're bringing haggis. What's haggis?
What's haggis?
Yeah, what's haggis? What's it? What meat? What type of meat is it?
It's dumb Canadians. Haggis? Maybe.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What type of meat is haggis though?
It's meat. It's like.
Exactly. You know, like when they asked that question, it was like. It's.
You should just pretend that it was an animal. It's boiled in sheep's stomach and it's like innards and it's more similar to lamb.
So he tried googling it and it didn't, but you didn't spell it right, and then it's like, you know what, I'll just go through.
All right, okay. Well, Kel, you're the one to go to for drug imports.
It's like we have so much bigger concerns than a couple tins of Scottish meat.
It could have been. You could have opened that and it would have just been pure cocaine. Fucking hell, man.
So if you need to get through Canadian security, just say that it's haggis, I guess.
it's haggis. It's like, oh, okay, sir. Okay, whatever haggis is. I hope the haggises aren't becoming extinct. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I think they're fine.
It's weird to hear you say that they were confused that they could understand this, because when you brought this topic up to me, I just assumed that people would say, "Oh, I can't understand you because you're Scottish."
Well, no, I should say the people who I do talk with from the US, most of them all are part of this Star Wars management page, and none of them are none of them are, intellectual delinquents. They're all fairly smart people. Maybe the average person may not be able to hear us, but these people are all fairly affluent. They all can understand us, maybe because we're not overly heavily thick in the accent, but it could also potentially just be because they're not idiots.
It's also like the Glasgow accent where we're from is probably the most commonly heard Scottish accent.
Is it?
Most of is like David Tennant. He's from Glasgow.
He's from Paisley.
Huh? Is he?
Yeah.
That's in Glasgow. It's close enough. It's the same accent.
Close enough. Close enough. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
Like that area where we're from is like where most of the actors come from.
Yeah,
usually.
we've got the Royal Conservatoire and everything. Yeah. Okay, I guess so. Also, if you want to I always think of it like a weird progression map in a video game, or like a Candy Crush, where you've got a dot to dot and like a weird map. To break into the US, typically you need to first break into like the south of England. But to break into the south of England, if you're from Scotland, you also need to go to Glasgow first. So I feel like most people kind of get, you get broken in. You need to go through Glasgow to go to London, then you go to London, then you kind of shoot over to America. So if you've come from anywhere else in Scotland that isn't Glasgow, you are going to pick up the kind of Glasgow kind of thing.
Yeah. So that may be why we're easier to understand than expected, I guess.
Potentially. Also, if they've ever watched, Doctor Who and they're fans of Amy Pond.
Yep, Amy Pond, Doctor Who.
Scottish! Yeah. Nobody says A.
You ever watched Indiana Jones, the third film? You got Sean Connery in there.
Sean Connery. A book full of my head, I can only blame myself. Don't hear that joke every 2 weeks. Still from a Scottish person, I may add.
I don't even understand. What?
A book fell on my head, I can only blame myself.
Oh, it's the Sean Connery. I get it, okay.
Much funny. Much fun.
So,
I do love the Scots.
Sorry for being Scottish. You're welcome for being Scottish. I did consider this when we were first talking about the podcast of whether we should play into the fact that we're Scottish or not, and I think we both, without actually saying it, decided not to bother.
Yeah,
because we didn't.
We never really addressed it. We're just,
yeah.
I live in Scotland, Kyle is from Scotland but lives in Canada, and, that's kind of it. Our accents are our accents, and yes, sometimes when we really get into something, or the King's English kind of fades and more kind of, fast typing kind of versions of the language will come out where we don't say I am, we just am, It's I am, stuff like that. But I should note, listeners, for I've heard a couple of people here, they are interested about thoughts on Doctor Who so far, and we did explain. I'm sure we did. We aren't doing like a week-on-week review. We're doing we did the season premiere, and then we'll do a season wrap-up. And do not worry, I can't speak for Kyle. I am watching it every Sunday.
I've been trying to watch it. It's difficult. We've had guests around. I don't always have access to the TV. It's just,
You're currently fine until we get to the end of the season. You're fine. We're 3 episodes in. It's a 10-episode season. I have many thoughts so far, listener. I kind of speak about it on my Twitter. # Twitter pimp. You can catch me there for any thoughts on week experiences, but mainly we will do an episode at the end. I also did forget when I was pimping out the first episode. I forgot to also pimp out the bonus Doctor Who episode, so along with this episode, I will all be pimping out the bonus episode for episode 1 of Doctor Who. So I just forgot to do it all together, so there's a reason that maybe less people have seen it.
So much content from us. You're welcome.
You're welcome, laddie!